Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new to the channel, my name is Sophia and I make book-related videos, mainly videos about literary fiction as well as mystery thriller books, but truly a little bit of everything. And today I am back with my fall book haul. So we will be covering all of the books that I have not read but hauled since my last haul. It just feels repetitive to say like haul a book that I've already talked about in a video. This is more extensive than I want it to be. I will be putting them all in the plant pot jar at some point, although I have not yet. And I need to find some like accountability system for my TBR. If you have any good ideas, let me know. Probably the best idea is me not going to the bookstore, but that hasn't worked so far. All right, so the first one is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. So this came out in 2016. It was published by Scouts Press, which is a imprint of Simon & Schuster, and it comes in at 341 pages. This is a mystery thriller novel set on a cruise ship. A woman goes on, like a journalist goes on this cruise ship for work, and then she witnesses somebody being thrown overboard. And we go from there. I picked this up from Book of the Month recently because there is a sequel that was just released or is about to be released. And I just thought that was so interesting, like a mystery novel that was as a standalone, but now has a sequel. My Ruth Ware disclaimer is that sometimes I love her books, sometimes I don't love them so much. Hopefully I love this because if I do, there's one very similar one that is coming next. Next, we have The Burgess Boys by Elizabeth Strout. So this came out in 2013. It was published by Penguin Random House and it comes in at 320 pages. Elizabeth Strout is one of my new favorite authors this year after reading Olive Kitteridge. And she writes a lot of like interconnected books, but they're not necessarily like sequels. But this is the next one that she published after Olive Kitteridge. And it's about the Burgess, I think is how it's pronounced, boys. They were characters that were introduced in Olive Kitteridge, but again, didn't get too much into them. And basically, it's short stories about them, interconnected short stories within a book of connected books. I love Elizabeth Strout. I think it's going to be a win. So next we have None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This one came out in 2023. It was published by Atrio Books and it comes in at 390 pages. This is about a woman who goes out for her birthday. She is a podcaster. I think she runs a true crime podcast. And at her birthday dinner, she meets somebody else who has the exact same birthday, who then goes missing. And it kind of goes from there and they're looking into what happened. I think this is the highest rated Lisa Jewell she's ever published. It's like 4.1 or something on Goodreads. And I do love me a good true crime podcast. So I think I was interested in the premise of this for sure. Next is a borrowed, hauled book from my mother called The Good Nurse by Charles Graeber. It came out in 2013. It was published by 12, which is not a company that I've heard before. And it comes in at 359 pages. This is a true crime novel that I believe was made, yes, it was made into a Netflix film. And it's about a serial killer who was a nurse and basically how he was caught and his crimes. This terrifies me, being in the healthcare system, but I'm also very intrigued and need to know everything about it. Next, we have A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. This came out in 1943. It was published by Harper and Brothers. Is that related to HarperCollins? I need to know. And it comes in at 493 pages. This is an American classic, and it's a coming-of-age story about a girl growing up, I believe, in Brooklyn in the early 1900s. Next, we have When in Rome by Sarah Adams. This came out in 2022. It comes in at 320 pages, and it was published by Dell. This is a romance about a pop star and a small-town baker that I already have planned to read during British Bake Off season. It sounds really cute. It's the first book in a series that I hope I really like so that I will continue on with it. Then we have The Five, which is by Hallie Rubenhold. It was published in 2019 by Houston Mifflin Harcourt. and it comes in at 352 pages. This is a true story about the women who were killed by Jack the Ripper, very much focused on the victims, not on him and the crimes themselves. And I do plan to read this in fall. It's on my fall TBR. Next, we have Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This came out in 2017. It was published by Little Brown, and it comes in at 465 pages. This is a middle grade book about a young girl who is cursed to die on her 11th birthday, and it's kind of like her magical journey relating to that. The cover of this, I do have to pull this from my shelves because it is just like to die for. There we go. I think it's focused. Look at that. Stunning with the foiling and everything. And again, I just feel like my reading right now is about balance and finding joy in different experiences. And that is a very different book for me, but I think I'm going to enjoy it. Next, we have Culpability by Bruce Holsinger. This one was published in 2025 by Spiegel and Grau, and it comes in at 350 pages. I found out about this one because it was an Oprah's book club pick this year, and it's a family drama, basically. Seems kind of like a futuristic story, but also not that futuristic. It's about a family with a self-driving car that gets into a car accident and the fallout of that. I think it has a lot to say about AI, new technology, and how it's affecting families, but also a bit of a mystery novel as well, I think. We have Perfect Remains by Helen Field. This was published in 2017 by Avon and comes in at 418 pages. This is the first book in the Luke Kalanick series, which is a detective mystery series that I heard about from Victoria's channel, which is called What Victoria Read. I will link it down below. You should check it out. It's the best. But she said that this is one of her favorite detective mystery series ever. And I love a good detective mystery, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the fall, particularly. We have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This came out in 2023. It was published by HarperCollins, and it comes in at 373 pages. Yes, I have held out on the hype for several years, and I can't do it another season. I cannot walk by this cover for another fall season. I don't know how I did it so many times. This is not a highly rated book. People do not like this book, but it's just so cute. Like, I just need it. And this is a romance book about a woman who gets the Pumpkin Spice Cafe as a gift from her aunt, and she's kind of like setting it up, as well as a local farmer who's very grumpy. It's kind of like a sunshine and clouds type of romance. And of course, the first in a series. I hope I love it. I don't have a good feeling about it, but I have a great feeling about the cover. We also have Battle of the Bookstores by Ali Brady. This came out in 2025, published by Berkeley, and it's 414 pages. Again, I went to Barnes & Noble literally today, the day that I purchased this book, and it was 100% a cover buy. But tell me you wouldn't pick this up off the shelf if you saw this on the shelf. It better be a romance about bookstores that are next to each other. I think it is. We also have A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. This is by Sangu Mandana, and it came out in 2025 by Berkeley. It's 336 pages, and this is a kind of like magical romance. It says Seer Swan used to be one of the most powerful witches in Britain. Then she resurrected her great aunt Jasmine from the dead, lost most of her magic, befriended a semi-villainous talking fox, and was exiled from her guild. Now she helps Jasmine run an enchanted inn in Lancashire, where she deals with her quirky guests' shenanigans, tries to keep said talking fox in check, and longs for a future that seems lost to her. But then she finds out about an old spell that could help hold the key to restoring her power. And then it sounds like there's a romance with this historian named Luke, and it just looks very cute. I think would be a good fall read as well. On a totally different note, we have East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This came out in 1952. It was published by Viking, and it comes in at 601 pages. It is a classic American novel about two families that live in California and kind of the intermingling between them. And I've heard amazing things about it. We also have, why am I only pulling out some of these? I need to just make my mind up. We have Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. Again, another book that's a little out of my comfort zone, but I think a book that will give me a lot of variety in my reading and I'm really excited about. This was published in 2018 by Graphics, which is an imprint of Scholastic. It's a graphic novel. It comes in at 263 pages and is about two boys in high school, I believe, that fall in love. And the art, I don't want to spoil anything, but the art looks amazing. I'm very excited. I'm also 7 years late to the train on this. All right, we have King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. It came out in 2025, so it's his most recent release. It was published by Pine and Cedar, which is an imprint of Flatiron Books, and it comes in at 333 pages. And the description just says, a son returning home, a dangerous debt, secrets about to ignite, and a family about to be consumed by flames. I do have one other S.A. Cosby, which I haven't read. Here's this one, by the way, King of Ashes. But I thought the cover looked very fall related, so I thought I would read it this season. Next, we have People Like Us by Jason Mott. This came out in 2025, published by Dutton. It's 270 pages. It is about two authors on a book tour, and this is an autobiography for me. I read Hell of a Book a few years ago now, absolutely adored it, and I will buy anything that he writes. And last, but certainly not least, we have Flashlight by Susan Choi. I picked this up because I want to do an episode 2 of my Reading the Modern Mrs. Darcy book summer reading guide, book club summer reading guide, and this was one of the titles. So I'm planning to read this with, I'm forgetting which book, but I'm planning to read this probably this fall as well. And this was published in 2025 by FSG, which is an imprint of Macmillan. It comes in at 447 pages. And it says, one summer night, Louisa and her father take a walk on the breakwater. Her father is carrying a flashlight. He cannot swim. Later, Louisa is found on the beach, choked to the skin, barely alive. Her father is gone. She is 10 years old. Like, that sounds so intriguing. I also really adore the cover. So that is it for my very extensive fall book haul. Certainly bought more books than I should have. But I would love to know what books you have bought recently. If you know anything about any of the books that I've talked about or have read them or have thoughts about them, I would love to know that. And with that, I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye.